Just wanted to give a little eulogy to Highguard. I'm sure many of you have heard the news of its passing. They are shutting it down, so it truly is a certified goodbye guard situation here. The writing was on the wall. The last update we got with Highguard wasn't exactly joyous. It was about the layoffs that they were experiencing, where they let go of the majority of the development team. So it felt like it was just a matter of when as opposed to if they pulled it off life support. It had been hemorrhaging players and they didn't have the confidence to see it through, to see if they could find a community that would fall in love with it through like updates and tinkering around, which I'll reiterate, I find to just be so vomit inducing as a norm in this industry, where they'll put millions of dollars into these projects, and if they don't instantly become the next fucking Fortnite or something, they just call it curtains and like, oh, doom and gloom, we're dead, is what it is, on to the next one. Like, they don't even really like try. They farted out like a whole roadmap for this game off rip to show that they're like really committed to building it with the community, only to just instantly bury it 45 days later. It only lasted like a Concord and a half. It's so odd, these executives, man. Like, I don't know what they expect. Anyone could have looked at the trailer for this game at the end of the Game Awards, which absolutely blew its ass wide open. That was a really unfortunate position for it to be in because of the expectations for a game like this. It already put a sour taste in people's mouths. But anyone could look at this game and tell you, yeah, it's not exactly going to stand toe-to-toe with the big dogs. This is something that would need to carve out a niche over time in order to find an audience. Like, it just surprises me that they all have become so deluded that they think it's going to happen immediately for them. It's not. So this game made it like 45 days, and I'm sure learning of its shutdown isn't the most surprising thing you've ever heard, because it's probably the most surprising thing you've ever heard. We'll look at their statement, though. Highguard's final update arriving soon. Thank you for playing with us. Today we're sharing difficult news. We have made the decision to permanently shut down Highguard on March 12th. Since launch, more than 2 million players stepped into Highguard's world. You shared feedback, created content, and many believed in what we were building. For that, we are deeply grateful. Despite the passion and hard work of our team, we have not been able to build a sustainable player base to support the game long term, which runs contradictory to what was stated initially once the players started to drop off after day one about, like, we don't need massive players. You know, player count isn't everything. We can continue to sustain this for the whole fucking roadmap. Like, now it's a very different song and dance here. Servers will remain online until March 12th. We hope you'll jump in with us one more time to show your support and get those final great matches in while we still can. The team is excited to release one final game update to enjoy in the remaining life of the game. We'll be adding a new warden, a new weapon, account level progression, and skill trees. Full patch notes are coming, and we're targeting tonight or tomorrow morning for patch release. From all of us at Wildlight, thank you for playing, for supporting us, and being part of Highguard's story. They're sailing off into the sunset with one last content drop here for Highguard. And I gotta tell you again, sports fans, I just don't know what kind of stupid juice executives are fucking squirting down their gullet there, the video games industry, to make them think that games like this are going to immediately pop off. Be real. A game in this genre that is so fucking saturated is going to need some time to bake. It's going to need a lot of tender love and care, a lot of alterations, a lot of listening to the community in order to build something that will hopefully get more players in the door. It was never going to be like a smashing global phenomenon or anything like that. That is very rare. I just don't get how they wouldn't have accounted for that and allocated budget of like, here's what we're going to go for this length of time. And if we don't grow to this level over the course of like 6 months or something, then we call it quits. They give it just over a month. Like, it never stood a chance. Even setting aside the blunder of the Game Awards for Highguard, even if that didn't happen, it probably would still be getting shut down right now, or maybe it would have even happened earlier, because at least the Game Awards put a lot of peepers on it, and even though it was like, people just looking to clown on it. It did get a lot of people in the door initially to try it, to the tune of almost like 100,000 concurrent on day one. So maybe if that didn't happen, it wouldn't have even come close to that, and they would have shut the doors after 3 fucking days or something. Like, oh, it's over. Okay, everyone go home. Pack your bags. You're fucking fired. It didn't work. Like, maybe that's how it would have happened if the Game Awards, blunder didn't go down the way it did. Who's really to say? But all I can tell you is that I find it really just gross that these companies only give a game like a month and some change to be like the biggest game in the world, as opposed to like working at it for a long time. Like, let's take, for example, Rainbow Six Siege. I don't know how many old heads out here remember launch Rainbow Six Siege. That shit was almost non-functional. Siege was in a bad spot for a really, really, really long time. For like a whole month or two after its release, it was the Highguard of shooters. People would go into Siege just to make fun of the motherfucker. So like, that game had, by all definitions, a like rocky launch. Now, of course, it did have more players. I get that. It is like a huge budget title. But even still, by all definitions, it was a game that was floundering. But over the course of so much iterating, so much changing, and spending a lot of time, it was able to carve out a niche and grow into a successful game. Now, Highguard, of course, came out, and when people tried it, they weren't blown away. It was mid. That is just how it is. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't the shittiest thing in the world. It was just mid. It was kind of a been there, done that kind of thing, but with a different coat of paint, like a different spin on it, kind of, where now it's like pseudo base rating, but it still just felt like the same dish we had been served numerous times before. But that's not to say it would always exist in that state. Maybe over time they could have fleshed something out and made something unique out of it that would have attracted a community to it. You never know. And now we will never know, because the game's already getting shut down in just over a month. Like, it's just so fucking weird to see how content these companies are in the industry to just dump millions out the wazoo on these games, and then they only let them live for like just over a month, or sometimes even less. What a huge fucking waste of time and money in that case, if you're not even going to try to see where things go down the line. I get it's still expensive to keep running the games, which is why I think these companies need to be a lot more realistic with their expectations on things, like a fucking pseudo-hero shooter experience. Like, come on, wake up. This is ridiculous. Now again, it's not exactly surprising, because there's, at the moment, 350 players playing Highguard. That's not a substantial player base to justify, like, still spending oodles of clams developing it. I get that, which is why this is not shocking in the slightest. I just feel like it's something they should have been preparing for, and maybe, heaven forbid, not investing millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars into these games, expecting them to instantly blow up and instantly make all your money back within the first fucking 48 hours of it being live. But who knows, maybe I'm just on the crack pipe with that take. It just feels stupid. It feels like this was the most predictable thing that you could have seen unfold from any level. Like, anyone who has any level of experience in gaming could have told you Highguard was going to struggle finding like a solid player base, like a sizable player base. It would take a long time and a lot of work and a lot of effort to carve out a niche. And they weren't willing to commit to it, so now they've shut it down. Anyway, just wanted to let you all know that Highguard's going offline pretty soon. The guards are going to be sailing off high into Valhalla, it seems. That's really about it. See ya.